5, right? These guys are octaves of each other. So this is C1, this guy here, the doubling is C2, 4 times is C3, and 8 times is the 4th octave above, right? Or 3rd octave above that, the 4th octave total, right? Okay. This note in the middle here is an important note. That's the dominant, right? That's the G. And then this is G2. This guy is E in there. This is another G because, of course, it's solidly in the middle of these, right? Same place, right? And then this is a very flat G flat. I don't know how you draw the flat thing there. Right? It's a very, very flatted thing, right? I'll play these things. But first, I must put on hearing protection. Thank you! Trumpets, this thing has holes. I can play the other notes in between, right? If you look at a trumpet, they've got valves, and with 3 valves cleverly arranged, you can do the same thing as all these holes, right? And then you also have to sort of bend the notes, and sometimes when you get really high, many valve combinations will get the same note for really high notes, right? Because you're just sort of going by ear. A bugle. Do bugles have valves? No. No valves. So what can you play on a bugle?
1 note.
You can play taps, right? Yes? And then what else can you play? What else can you play?
Reveille.
Reveille, baby. Okay, here we go. Anyway, yes, there we go. Right. So without valves, obviously, there's a limited number of songs. Although a good trumpet player, once you get up really high, they could just probably play any note. Super high, the harmonics get so close together that they can play note-wise, right? Okay. Now, in a harmony, the beats are constant, right? So if you sing an E3, right, and a C4, so if you play this E3 here and this C4, right, the harmony that you hear from that 8F0 and 5F0 is 3F0, right? These notes, the G, the E, and the C, that's an inversion of a triad. The triad is bum, 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 right? There's many inversions, lots of ways to play them. But if you play these 3 notes, you would actually hear this G as an undertone, right? You would hear that as this sort of resonating thing. And that is why, these 2 notes sound good together. They harmonize with each other, is because they are consonant tones. There's a mathematical relationship. Because these things all come from standing waves, these things are constant, right? Now, when I was in college, I tried out for the soccer team and I tried out for the choir, and I got into the choir, so I don't even know whether I made it on the soccer team, but the choir was like world class. And the guy named Dale Worland would direct us, and we spent so many hours practicing. We spent 2.5 hours 3 times a week, 1.5 hours twice a week practicing. These guys were all music majors. They were all super good. They could all sing in tune. And we all sang without vibrato. That was his style. We weren't like, ah! It was just very, pure tones. And we were singing some French chanson or something like that. And there was this piece, and Dale Worland was the kind of person that could, at the end of 15 minutes of music, he could go back through and tell every person what note they sang. I don't know how he could do it. He was a freaking genius. He could hear 40 voices all at once and be like, okay, you're missing this note right here, you're right. It was just amazing that way. And he was going crazy because he was hearing this other part that wasn't written in the music, right? He actually got so mad that he did the whole thing where everybody had to sing their part through to make sure we all knew it, right? And I'm sitting there, it took so long that I was really kind of bored, so I did a little math, and I figured out the note that he thought that we were singing was an undertone, that the tenors and the altos were singing a couple notes like that, and that they were making an undertone that we were hearing. And it was crazy because I said, okay, no, just those 2 parts, have them sing. So these 2 people sang, the section leaders sang it, right? And we could hear a 3rd freaking voice. And it was just really creepy. It was like the biggest ghost story. The hairs on our arms were standing up. We were just like, whoa, where is this coming from, right? It was an undertone. And the weird thing was, since it was a boy and a girl singing, it was sort of this androgynous pat voice, you know, from Saturday Night Live, right? It was just kind of like, boy, is it a girl? What is it? Where is it? And it was, because of course they're not actually, you know, quartz tuned or something like that, the phase, it was sort of drifting around like where it was coming from, which is why he couldn't figure it out, right? So there it is. Okay, so now we definitely need to do, we've got some demonstrations we need to do here.